Good evening and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacey Johnson. Joining me tonight, as always, is Aguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my cousin Todd, wherever he is. We have a packed show for you this evening. First U.S. troops were killed in the Mideast since start of Gaza war, and President Biden says he knows who is responsible. The San Francisco 49ers faced the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl after defeating the Detroit Lions. Texas seized part of the U.S.-Mexico border and blocked Federal Border Patrol agents. Todd and tennis. The Australian Open, and how Sinner fought back to win his first title. The FBI director warns United States citizens that Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc on the United States' critical infrastructure. A
Mute
sports
your
tribunal,
phones.
a sports tribunal bans Russian Kamila Valieva from figure skating through 2025. Mark Zuckerberg apologizes to families over social media harms in contentious Senate hearing conducted today. The Jackie Robinson statue was stolen. It was cut down from the ankles in a baseball field. Justice Department is investigating Democratic Representative Cori Bush from Missouri over alleged misuse of campaign funds. Former President Donald Trump can delay paying E. Jean Carroll damages until after his appeal. And more, if we can fit it in. First up, I don't know where everyone went. All right, here's Stephen. I don't know where he went or where Guna went. I guess he'll be back.
Yeah,
First
I
up,
couldn't hear
cousin
you.
Todd.
I
Okay,
couldn't hear you,
okay,
so I just redid.
that's all right. First up, cousin Todd and tennis Australian Open as we wait for Guna to return. And or if he doesn't, Stephen, you can do the Super Bowl. Cousin Todd. Cousin Todd. I guess we're having technical difficulties today. Cousin Todd.
Okay.
All right.
You ready for tennis, right? All
Yes.
right.
So we said it
Uh,
about 10 times.
I was ignoring you. Okay. Australia Open. Medvedev won the first two sets, and Sinner won the next three. Sinner is from Italy. He's ranked number 4 in the world, but he's been a top 10 player for at least the last, I don't know how many years, with consistent results. Medvedev is ranked number 3 in the world and has similar ranking. Uh, it was a pretty even matchup. Uh, that's for the men. Now, Sinner, he's okay. I like him pretty good. I don't like Medvedev. Can't stand him. He's like what's the other guy I can't stand? Djokovic. Can't stand him. Anyway, Sabalenka won for the women. She won in straight sets against Zhang, and she's ranked number 12 in the world. Sabalenka's rank number 2. Sabalenka lost the U.S. Open to Coco Gauff last year. Sabalenka beat Coco in the semifinals this year. Let me see. And that was a close match that Coco lost to. Now, Zhang is the first female Chinese player in the past 10 years to reach the Australian Open since Lena. She won in 2014. That's it for tennis.
So, what do you think of this new Italian stallion? Like, he's 22 years old. Do you like him, Todd? Does he have a great future?
He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I don't think he's better than Alcaraz, though.
But
Alcaraz,
he's
go ahead.
but he's up there, right? He's kind of up there. He's in the rarefied air, or he's not there yet, or is he?
Yeah, I think he's pretty good. I think there was a little bit of luck,
Mm-hmm.
but he's pretty good. He's just pretty good. He's pretty good, and he's ranked number 4. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he's no
Yeah.
slouch,
He's up and coming. Yes,
right?
maybe
But I
he'll
don't think
keep a
he has
spark.
the speed as Alcaraz does.
Alcaraz.
Alcaraz, that speed, he can get up to that net quick. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'll win. I
But
don't
you
know
know,
how.
you must say, Todd, that Alcaraz and Sinner have gone head to head before when one has beaten each other, and when it matters for Alcaraz, Alcaraz pulls out the win. So, in other words, when Alcaraz is on a roll, and he wants to win something, he will beat Sinner. And I guess this time, that didn't happen.
Right. Right.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you. Anything else with tennis, Todd? You were a little sticky, a little slow, you sounded like you didn't want to do tennis, and Aguna was licking his chops, thinking, good gracious, Todd doesn't want to do tennis. That's fantastic. Right, Aguna?
Well, Aguna is ghetto. And if it's not football or basketball, he's just not interested. So, and matter of fact, you're ghetto too, Stacy. So if it's not football or basketball, you're not interested.
No,
And
it's
I'm
basketball or
ghetto
hockey.
too. I'm ghetto.
You said it.
Oh, I don't shy away from it.
All
You
right,
best not to.
thank you, cousin Todd. Aguna or Steven, you want to talk about those games this past weekend and the Super Bowl next week?
Just really quick, let me say this real quick. I got all the games right this weekend. It was a lovely weekend. I had Kansas City with the points, Detroit with the points. I had the over with Detroit, and I had the under with Kansas City. Couldn't have worked out much better.
What about the Red Sox?
The Red Sox. They were so far under, we couldn't even see them. They were so far down there. So no, it was a great weekend, and it's rare to have games like that. It was great games. The Kansas City game couldn't have been any better. It was so much fun, and Detroit should have won that game, but I'll let Aguna elaborate first, since he is like licking his chops. It was a great weekend for the NFL, and everything just it fit into place. It was a lot of fun. It's just, this is why we watch these games. So yeah, Aguna, what did you think of these games, man?
I like your shirt. I like your shirt, Steven.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was an interesting weekend. You wanted Lamar to get through, but he was going up against Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift. And it was just one of those things where they weren't going to let him through. I mean, Baltimore had opportunities in the game, but Lamar Jackson threw a terrible interception into triple coverage in the end zone, right when they were trying to make it back within reach. And then Patrick Mahomes just sealed the deal. The Chiefs are the type of team where you can't let them hang around, and you can't let them have the lead the whole game. I thought that Baltimore would at least try to get to Mahomes a little bit more, hit him a little bit. But playing in Baltimore isn't like playing in Kansas City, right? So it wasn't really a lot of home field advantage there. I don't know why, but it just didn't seem like it. And Patrick Mahomes was just, when he gets in the playoffs, he just gets this hunger, and you can't stop him. I mean, it's him, Kelsey got going, and they were just, the Pacheco, the running back, was going, and the defense stepped up. And, the Chiefs and the Eagles went through the same type of adversity in the year, right? So there was a stretch in the year where the Kansas City wasn't winning games, and they were questioning their resolve to get back to the Super Bowl. And once he got to the playoffs, though, Patrick Mahomes was just lights out. So to Steven's point, my heart was wanting Lamar Jackson to Baltimore to get through, but my head said, you know what? There's no way the NFL is going to let Taylor Swift, who is going to have a concert in Tokyo, she's probably going to fly on a private jet back from Tokyo just to be in the Super Bowl to root for. I mean, it was just too big of a story for them not to let Kansas City get through. And on the other side, in the NFC, I mean, Detroit, you got to feel for Detroit. I mean, Baltimore and Detroit are probably two of the most crapped on cities in the United States of America. Baltimore being hood, Detroit being, basically a urban wasteland kind of thing. And it's, you had all those people, they were very excited. They were rooting for Detroit. Eminem was down there, and they were handling the 49ers. They were handling the 49ers like I wish the Eagles would have. But it's like they 27-7. I mean, they were up on them, and they were all over them. But Detroit, being Detroit, does what Detroit does best. And, I mean, Dan Campbell, I know the sports analytics is big, right? So they're sitting here trying to, he's a risk taker, and he's, and this is what he needs to do. But there was a point in the third quarter where Detroit was up 14 points. 4th and 2 at the 49er 30-yard line or something like that. And analytics says go for it because there's a high probability of you making the first down if you like analytics and you play Madden every day. But common sense, the 49ers had just kicked a field goal. All you had to do was kick a field goal. You would still be up 3 possessions. You're not trying to – at that point, Detroit only had to match points. They didn't have to go for the jugular. It was too – but Dan Campbell went for it. This was the first time, right? He didn't get it. 49ers go down the field and get a touchdown, right? So the second time, it's the game's on the line. You're going to tie it with less than like 5 minutes left. He goes for it again, and then the 49ers stop them. They drive down the field, and now they go up 2 possessions. So it was just one of those things where, you thought Detroit had it in the bag, but then you remember who the Lions are, and it just got pulled out from underneath them. But, again, they lost by 3. They missed 2 opportunities to kick field goals where they would have won by 3. And they made Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, who this whole year I've said isn't that guy who we think he is.
He's not.
I kept saying that this guy, he's just a game manager. He can't, he's not ready for the moment. Something's gonna happen. Detroit allowed this guy to look elite in this game. And granted, he delivered. I mean, there were times in there where he made scrambles that only a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes would make. So now he's in that club. He's a Super Bowl. Mr. Irrelevant is in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's a good news story from that regard. I hate the 49ers, by the way, because they were whining last year when the Eagles beat them in the championship game. Now they got their revenge. Now they're in the Super Bowl. And so, to that point, it's probably the matchup that the NFL wanted. 49ers versus Kansas City. Think about it, a Detroit-Baltimore Super Bowl, people would have been like, yeah, who are these cities? These are loser cities kind of thing. Hollywood, West Coast,
garbage bowl.
Kansas City, State Farm guy, that's what the NFL wanted. The Swifties are going to be in full effect. Yeah, I mean,
don't nobody want Eminem. Eminem's been gone for 10 years or more. Who cares about Eminem in Detroit? Nobody wants Detroit.
I mean, that was going to be his moment, man. Eminem was flicking off the people in the stadium. He was, Detroit.
And Eminem was going to talk about his daughter Haley.
Yeah.
He sings about his daughter.
I've told my son
was just happy to be there. They were just happy to be in the championship game, so they're actually satisfied with getting this. You can't have
a coach that's just a meathead or somebody that's just too analytical, like you have in Miami. He's too analytical. You have a coach here that's just immediate. You need somebody that's a little bit of both. You need somebody that can make the right decision at the right time. They're not just going to be, I got to do a meathead thing or I got to be analytical. You got to have somebody that's in the middle. I told my son since he was born, I said, Detroit's always going to be Detroit. I don't know what this is, but Detroit's always going to be. So I didn't think Detroit was going to win, but I thought that was 7 points was too much. and I thought that was great. But San Francisco, they don't impress me. They don't have anything for Kansas City right now. Even if the singer, what's her, I want to whatever, Taylor Swift, even if she wasn't there and was helping to promote all this stuff and keep it going for them, I think they have Kansas City has a better team right now than San Francisco doesn't. They barely beat Green Bay. They should have lost to Detroit. They should have lost to Green Bay. So Kansas City with the better, whose quarterback do you like better, Purdy? Or, who do you like Mahomes better? Who do you like better? That's one thing.
They do. I mean, the only thing that San Francisco has that that may be the difference maker. Now, as you can see, Detroit should have kept running it on. So Pacheco is going to have, if he stays healthy throughout the whole game, he's going to have a good day.
Yeah.
But the physicality of the San Francisco receivers, Debo and Ayuk, those guys are tough. And I think if you can shut them down, you can get Debo down. And he didn't really even get going like he normally does in that game. But
yeah, he's still hurt. He's a little hurt. His shoulder.
He's still banged up. So he's going to have 2 weeks to rest, right? So
yeah, true.
It's going to be interesting if they can shut down that receiving core. Again, McCaffrey's a little nicked up, but McCaffrey gets his yards. He gets his touches. He comes on. But, yeah, I mean, all conventional wisdom says Mahomes in this moment, Andy Reid, Kelsey, these guys are trying to run it back again. But, again, I think that San Francisco team was stacked, but at the same time, they were exposed. Green Bay exposed them. Detroit exposed them. They just couldn't see the field because of the boneheaded coaching decision. So
right, and we don't have a boneheaded coach here with Reid.
Andy Reid, you better believe Andy Reid's kicking that field goal. He's not going to sit there and use the hand on.
And he's a much better coach. And he's a much better coach here. Much better quarterback. Much better defense. Defenses wins championships. San Francisco's defense ain't what it used to be, and they let Detroit run all over them. Detroit could have beat them 45-0 if they had a better system, because they were getting up on them. So I don't have any faith in Frisco at all.
Oh, here we go. Laguna, here we go.
Bank of America.
Let me say this about that joke that Aguna made, which is typical, about Taylor Swift. On Fox News, they were having a fit about Taylor Swift. Oh, thumbs down on Fox News.
Care about Fox News.
They were talking about Taylor Swift so negatively, which is so typical of Fox News. Because Taylor Swift has no business. If you would shut your pie hole, I could get it out.
That was uncalled for, Todd. You get a week off.
Uncalled, Todd. You get a week off, and you go back to watch The View, Todd.
Yeah, you get a vacation. You can binge watch The View.
We miss your ascot. We missed your ascot, Todd.
So anyway, they were talking about Taylor Swift so negatively, as if she can't come and enjoy the game to watch her boyfriend play. And so it was all political because she doesn't support Donald Trump. So I know Stephen and Keith hate her guts. But that is so toxic of males to do that. And I can remember when they did that to another girl. She was dating Andre Agassi. Brooke Shields. What do you mean? Where is this going? Of course, you don't know where it's going.
Wasn't she like anti-Vietnam or something?
Andre Agassi was a heroin addict.
Going back in time, and that's how far Todd's going back in time, showing his age.
Todd,
anyway, Andre Agassi. This is what happened, and Stacey should be ashamed of herself for not recognizing this is what men do to women with power.
Power.
Brooke Shields. Yes.
Swift has power.
Yes.
Oh.
She wait a minute. I wrote down the stats.
Yeah, she has
got
power.
35,000 people to register to vote. 35,000, and they voted the way
it's different. So you're equating power to influence.
She's a goddess.
And she was great for the economy. Her and what's the black girl Beehive that
Beyonce.
Yeah. So yeah, these girls wield power.
We're talking football. That's why men are mad at her, because this is our Sunday. This is our Sunday. We don't want it to be railroaded by some
wonderful.
music
This
stuff.
is wonderful.
We don't want our football
You just-
players doing this.
And
We don't
you
want our
just-
football players doing that,
sport. We're
Todd.
not
This is
talking about
exactly what I
sports
was
We want them
talking
going.
about. Do you
Or
see that? Do you see
we don't
these
want
freaks?
this.
What are you talking about?
Now,
So
I love
personally
you,
don't
Taylor.
Like Taylor Swift. I don't like Taylor
One at a
Swift because
time.
she was an Eagles fan and she converted to being a
Yeah.
Kansas
A
City fan
Chief.
because of her boyfriend. All right, she was running around wearing Eagle stuff the other day. So now
And that's how women are, man. That's how women are.
Man, I don't care about
They're
all
fickle.
that.
They're fickle
You
like a
see this?
pickle,
We should
man.
be talking about football.
Okay,
Instead,
let me-
every time someone scores a touchdown, they pan the camera to Taylor Swift to see if she's having a good time. You know,
No,
Right.
no.
we
Now,
don't have time for that, Todd.
listen to me.
I know
Okay,
it's
you have to stop
entertainment, but we want
talking,
we want
Steven.
entertainment our way. We don't want.
Okay,
people
new
influencing on
Steven.
the game.
New Steven, you have to stop talking. Take a
love it.
breath.
Whatever.
Now,
Steven
This is-
2.0.
this is what I was talking about.
I
You
love
said, with your ignorant self,
Mhm.
we want our Sundays. That's like give us our country back.
No, it's
We
not.
want our Sundays,
It is not.
and you have your Sundays now. Every time the camera, Jay Cole touchdown, the camera. No, in total, the camera was on her. It was timed 25 seconds in total. So
Yeah, because they toned it back the
25
last game.
seconds too long. How much
They
is
toned it
added
back the
to
last game. They did it on purpose. They showed her less. They showed her so much
let's
that they
move
made a
on.
drinking game out of it. They made a drinking, and so many people around the country were so drunk they couldn't go to work the next
But
day.
that's why they
This
why
is
they
what-
love her.
they agree
because
with
she
each
brings
other.
this out. She's entertainment. NFL is entertainment. So they're bringing a new aspect of entertainment to
Yes.
the NFL by leveraging Taylor Swift.
They're
Now,
All
not.
right, thank you,
I have to
Cousin
accept
Todd.
This
that
is
more
all
people-
contrived. It's all
Cousin Todd
contrived.
always takes us off of our
Yeah, it's Serena.
he just takes us off the subject. Welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. B of A, I think that's what your name is. Good
Bank of
evening.
America.
Bofa. Anyway,
Oh, Bofa.
How you doing, Nas?
Both of you.
I'm all right. But anybody that's talking about like football and NFL and their complaint is Taylor Swift and not the amount of commercials, like that's the real issue with football now. They've raised so much revenue and figured out so many different ways to get sponsorships that we
Incredible.
basically get like 30 minutes of actual football play. All the rest is commercial. I mean, dude, I want to kill that one dude from the McDonald's commercial because I done seen it so many times. I'm so tired of that brother. Like, that's just what it is now with football, man. It's just commercial
A
after commercial.
TV timeout.
Barely TV
timeout.
timeout. Dude, you barely get any actual plays. But anyway, we're in the Mahomes
You
era.
wonder why I don't
It is
follow.
what it is. They gonna find a way to win. That dude is magical. And I mean, dude, there ain't really much else to say, man. Sorry for Kyle Shanahan. Hate to see him lose another Super Bowl. But that's what's about to happen, man. Mahomes era, man.
I'm
That's what
kind of
we need.
happy.
True.
I'm kind of happy that the 49ers will get in there and show their behinds and lose. I'm really happy about that, especially since
Yeah.
they waited a whole year to get with the Eagles. So, I'm happy that they're going to lose,
All right.
the 49ers.
Yeah. Let's go Kansas City. Let's party
I
to
mean,
some Taylor Swift.
I'm going for Kansas City because of Andy Reid, but these 49ers, for some reason, they just keep winning for something. As much as these last two games, I'm like, dang, I can't get them out of my. I just wanted them to lose a long time ago. I want Dallas and the 49ers. I want it out of here. I got my one wish with Dallas. Unfortunately, it cost me the Eagles because we lost the same week. And then the 49ers came. So I was hoping Detroit would get there for the first time, but it wasn't meant to be.
Okay, let me move on to the Russian figure skater who is banned. I'm going to share my screen and talk about, who we're going to start with for the first time with sports? Cousin
Kate.
Todd.
Oh my gosh. Sports and Todd should not go in the same sentence.
Well, if it's figure skating, okay, we call it a sport.
So,
Listen
Cousin
at these
Todd,
demons. They are so ghetto. Oh my gosh.
so this article,
Nas is ghetto too.
No,
Uh,
only you, your boyfriend, and Aguna.
Okay, excuse me. NPR.org reports that the Court for Arbitration of Sport ruled that Valieva will be suspended from international competition through December 2025.
Mm.
Trimetazidine was found to be present in the sample collected from Ms. Valieva on 25th of December 2021 during the Russian National Championships in St. Petersburg. The outcome also disqualifies all competitions where
Didn't do that
she is
before.
medaled beginning in December 2021, including the 2022 Winter Games, which in turn did what for the United States, Cousin Todd? It clears the
Move
way
them.
for the last medals from the Winter Games to be finally awarded. So what does it do, Cousin Todd?
It just moves them up in the ranking. And I was kind of glad that they did that to her because I forget this black girl's name that they stripped because of marijuana, which seems silly to me. It's not a drug that enhances your performance.
Performance enhancer, right?
Yeah. So this girl, on the other hand, did have
And
a
that was
performance.
Richardson, Sha'Carri Richardson you're talking about, Cousin Todd.
Oh, that was her name, Richardson. Yeah, that was
Sha'Carri Richardson.
thievery. But nevertheless, because is a difference. And
This is
though
Sha'Carri Richardson.
that's right. Though people like Stephen think, oh, they're drugs. Everybody takes drugs. So what? That's what Stephen said before. Now, Stephen is a flip flopper, so he'll flip that in about another 5 minutes. He was saying that about baseball and how everybody takes drugs in baseball. So what? And it's not so what. It's unfair. It's cheating. And it's illegal.
Okay, thank you,
Everybody-
Cousin Todd. Anybody else want to talk on the Russian figure skater and the United States moving up in rank, Stephen?
Yes, if everybody does it, everybody's on the same playing field. So it's not cheating if everybody does it. If everybody's doing it, it's not cheating. And I think this for this particular woman, who knows, somebody might hate her because she's Russian. Who knows? Maybe they could have put something in her blended drink or her eggs or something in her whatever. Who knows? Because you can get tested for something, not even take it, and have somebody at a restaurant could slip you something. Who knows?
He's saying two things. He's saying the poor little white girl didn't take drugs and she should not.
I'm saying that could have
happened. And then he's saying if everybody cheats on their taxes, so what?
No, what I'm saying, I don't know if everybody cheats. I know when in baseball, everybody was cheating in baseball. Everybody cheats in football. Everybody's taking steroids. Everybody's doing performance enhancement in every sport.
Is not.
Yes, everybody does.
And some people test positive, some people test negative.
If they test, the people that test positive, sometimes they want them to test positive because of political reasons or something. I don't know. I'm not saying she's not guilty. I'm not saying she didn't do it. I'm not saying somebody slipped her, but I'm saying we don't actually know. But it's really harsh that you got to go through a whole year. You got to have a whole year off that you can't compete. I just think it's really restrictive, and they shouldn't make it like that because most people do performance enhancement. Keith, I would love to hear what you have to say, please, sir.
Well, who was that, Stacy? You remember in the the woman who missed the Olympics?
Probably a black person. Probably a black, right?
We just referenced that 2 minutes ago, Keith. Like, come on,
well,
man.
I had to go and come back, so I didn't hear it. But anyway.
And of course, he wanted to bring up the black girl because he hates his mother and anybody who reminds him.
Yeah, but I mean,
Todd,
she was denied.
You were supposed to stop saying that a year ago, Todd.
That doesn't bother me.
He brought up an oldie. That's an oldie but a goodie, Todd.
Doesn't bother me. She doesn't. I mean, she didn't get the opportunity to participate. I mean, so why is it the Russian girl gets to go for?
What? Okay, the Russian girl doesn't get to participate. Ding
she doesn't.
Okay. Number one.
She got kicked out for a long time.
We already said one is a performance enhancement drug and one is not.
That's true.
I know that, but I mean,
but you know what? Some people think that marijuana is performance enhancing. Some studies have shown that it does enhance performance. Marijuana does, Todd.
Really?
For some people, yeah.
Not for running.
If you don't smoke it.
enhance. It won't enhance. To say that some people haven't been hindered, okay, that's one thing. To say that it enhanced is a whole other thing. You can't chew edibles and run faster. Like that doesn't work.
Thank
like
you,
that.
But
Nas.
that's
And
just because you say that doesn't make it so. Let's find some studies.
well, there we
Let's
go.
do
You
a
got me
studies
there.
on it. Just because you say it don't make
Oh,
it so.
now
Because
we're
I don't
looking
know
for
and you don't know.
facts.
We all don't know. Because
Now we're
somebody can
looking
do
for
edibles and they
facts.
may be able to run faster. I don't know.
You don't know.
All right,
You
gotta
don't
move
know.
on.
You
But
don't
hold
know.
on.
Thank you,
Hold
Nas.
I
on.
know you don't know. But it's
Hold on.
cool. We
We
don't
do have
know.
to say this though.
I have to agree with
Using
Nas on that
performance
one,
enhancing
Steven.
drugs for 2 years. He has a Viagra prescription, and that is also illegal and cheating, as far as I'm concerned.
We talking about a porn star? What is he talking about?
I love it.
Did he say Viagra? What's he talking about? What are we getting to Viagra about?
Performance
What are you talking
enhancing
about?
drugs.
Nas is
Viagra
crazy.
is
Viagra
performance enhancing. Viagra is performance enhancing, but I don't know if for sports.
You almost got it, man. You keep working. You'll
I
get that
can't.
done
Pole,
I
someday.
pole
can't.
vaulting. I don't know.
I
Someday.
love it.
Keep working.
I need help. Keith, help. I need you, Keith.
Yeah.
Help
Oh,
you.
that is
Yeah,
hilarious.
don't I
He
know
said,
it?
Keith, help. I
Help,
need you
Keith. I
then.
need
And
you.
then you missed
Well,
it, Todd.
Steven,
Keith said,
I had to side with
Todd, you
Nas
missed
on
it.
that one,
Excuse
Steven.
me. Yeah. Keith said, I had to side with Nas. The
I
marriage
had
is
to,
over, cousin
sorry,
Todd.
Steven,
Oh,
Golly.
on that one, Steven.
Keith, we were that close.
2024. It's gonna be a wild
Not
year.
now.
Steven's still
All
my
right.
brother.
Let me
We'll,
share my
we'll
screen.
still have
Jackie
Paris.
Robinson statue.
Always.
That was funny. We'll still have Paris. Look at this. I'll just play it.
Who is that?
The Jackie Robinson statue, someone cut the
Oh,
legs off of the statue and just left the feet, as you can
and
see.
you know that
And you
wasn't a
can see
conservative.
them running away with the
Feet.
statue.
That was a crazed liberal. That wasn't no conservative. I guarantee you. There was no
No.
Republican. That was a
Well,
Well,
the
Democrat.
Keith, they just
conservative,
leave
they would have cut
statues
off.
alone. Just
And
leave the
silver,
They would have cut off
statues
excuse me,
alone.
women's heads.
silver four-door truck connected it with the theft. They must have put it in the back of that
Silver
truck.
4-door truck. Yep, that's a conservative with Oakley.
No way.
Mhm.
No way.
Yeah, definitely.
They were
No.
MAGA. That's
So-
MAGA written all over that.
No way.
So if you look at this screen, let me read what happened and what officials calling a senseless and heartless crime in Kansas are asking the public for help identifying thieves who stole a Jackie Robinson Memorial statue from a youth baseball field. The suspects, according to the statement from the Wichita Police Department, vandalized and removed nearly all of the bronze statue in McAdams Park last Wednesday night. Someone cut it just above his shoes and hauled it off in a truck. That shows nothing left of the crime but the statue's shoes. What are they using that for, Bofa?
I have no idea, but also they said a bronze statue. So what did they cut this with, and how long did it take them to cut it? And if we got cameras everywhere, I'm assuming you got some street cams or some cam where you can get some footage of this person these people driving away with the great Jack Roosevelt Robinson statue, which kind of shows you where the lean is on this. To remember, Jackie Robinson famously had a stance of he wouldn't stand for the national anthem. He had a lot of disagreeable things to say about the Republican Party after he left the Republican Party when it made the switch over to what we see now, the conservative racist group that it is. So the great Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, man, one of the greatest Americans of all time, had the airlift that brought Barack Obama Sr. over to America, which is how we get Barack Obama. So yeah, there's a lot with Jackie Robinson, one of the greatest to ever do it. The statue story, I ain't got too much for you, Stacey. It's just, we just got to find them raggedy maggots that stole it.
That's it.
Yeah, and they're gonna find them. I mean, they see the truck. You know, there are cameras everywhere, so they just got to triangulate where it came from, highway, whatever, and they're gonna get at some point when they do that, when they look at all the cameras that are available, they're going to get a view of the license plate. Once they do that, it's all she wrote. Somebody either, unless it's a rental car or something, but if it's a rental car, you'll still have records. So it's like, that's not the smartest
didn't
thing
look
to
like
do
that
in
car
this
looked.
society. To
Yeah,
That thing looked so old. That was not a rental car. You see how old that truck looked?
Well,
They weren't
I
written
mean,
that, and if they were, they
it's
need
not
their
a
money
smart
back.
thing to do in the age of data to do something like that, in the age of cameras everywhere, in the age of just, I mean, again, people will find out. Somebody
Well,
saw
when
something
you
in the
have been
camera.
radicalized, you'll do anything.
Well,
And
Can you?
speaking of radicalization, I want to talk about, and we're going to start with Keith. I'm going to share my screen. Former President Trump, they said that he can delay paying E. Jean Carroll damages until after his appeal. And this was written by Lauren Irwin on thehill.com on January 27th, 5 o'clock. It says former President Trump can delay paying E. Jean Carroll the $83.3 million a jury decided he owes her until after he exhausts all appeal options he has vowed to seek, the New York Times reported on Friday of last week. A federal jury in New York ordered Trump to pay Carroll for defaming her in 2019 when he denied her accusation that he sexually assaulted her in the 1990s. We talked about this last week, but Keith, after the decision, he announced he would be appealing the absolutely ridiculous ruling. The former president and business mogul can pay the millions of dollars to the court, which would hold the money while the appeal is pending.
well, well, last I checked, in a death penalty, those that still exercise it, aren't you allowed to appeal before a death penalty is carried out, if it's carried out at all, if you've committed a crime of murder?
We don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, of
He
course.
is appealing.
Yeah,
I know you don't, Stephen.
You
of
didn't have to
course.
work that hard.
Isn't that
Appeals
true,
exist
Stephen?
for all other crimes too, man. You didn't have
Stephen,
to
isn't
murder.
that true, Stephen?
Right. We all agree with you. We
Now
all
he's
agree.
calling on Stephen after he just told Stephen he couldn't agree with Stephen. And when he needed help, he said, Stephen, help me. Even though I
Oh,
had to
You
do it
see, I'm
live.
always there for I'm loyal. You
hey,
know
look,
what? I'm always loyal.
Like
Stephen
an
and I,
old hound dog.
Loyalty is
we
royalty.
disagree on things. Stephen and I disagree.
Loyalty is real royalty.
We disagree. I don't agree with people just for loyalty. I agree with people based on principle and truth. If I
Right,
agree with
right.
Oh,
that's me.
so that
Yeah,
means
I don't agree on anybody that I don't agree with.
Yeah,
well, wait,
exactly.
that means Bob
Y'all just
according
disagreed
to you,
again.
excuse me,
Y'all just
Keith,
disagreed
Right.
again.
Keith,
Now you could be
according
the
to you,
since the marriage is off, it's we're going for each other's money now.
oh, Todd, they
Yeah,
really got their stuff, huh?
I'm gonna need some
He said, since
spousal
the marriage
support,
is
even though
off,
we never got married.
Stacy, what you wanted to say?
what I
He
wanted to
said
say
your common
was,
law.
and what I wanted to say was, it was funny that he said that you and Bafa were since you believe in
Oh, for
truth.
goodness sakes, the joke is over, Stacy.
I'm not talking about jokes, but since you believe in truth, Keith, that means you're saying what Bafa says is the truth.
Well, yeah, about the marijuana. If you want to go back to that, I just said marijuana is not an enhancement drug. If anything, it lowers your it depreciates your
Performance.
abilities. So
Because you've seen the studies.
it makes you.
Keith has tried it. Keith, haven't you
And
tried it?
Keith, have you done this? Have you seen the studies? Have you done the
How does it
studies?
make you feel, Keith?
Marijuana
How does
has
it make
not
you
been
feel?
studied the way it's supposed to be because it's still a class 3 drug, just like heroin or cocaine. And they won't do legitimate studies on marijuana because they consider it to be so bad right now. But if
There've
they
been
did, they would know that a
legitimate
lot of people have
marijuana
had
for over
a lot
20
of
years.
a lot of things themselves
Steven, who
that
do
have
you
proved to
know
them that help.
Coffin
that
did y'all
has
get
done
him out of
any
from
had smoked
1980?
weed and ran faster? You know anyone that smoked weed and ran faster?
I don't.
I'm saying they haven't done studies on
And
it. We can't guess. We can't guess. Who knows?
I'm
We
asking you
don't
what
know.
your
Okay.
experience
You
is.
don't know.
What I know is there are people who say they do better in sports when they do
People
different things.
say, a lot of folks.
No, we're talking about
say,
weed. What
You know, I'm talking
experience
about with
do you have
weed. When they do weed, some people do better with something else. Some people do better with something
You
else.
know
No,
anyone
they
that has
don't.
smoked weed and then ran a race and did the hurdles and
I'm not saying smoke. You don't have to smoke weed. You're stuck on that.
and ate a brownie, whatever. Do you know
Right.
anybody that has had weed, marijuana, and performed better at something?
I'm saying we don't know what the studies say.
I'm trying to
You
give
don't
you an
know. I
out
don't
here.
know.
Can we
Let's
move on?
find out.
It is not enhanced a
But
downer.
it's something they don't study enough. They'll
Just like you
study
drink
about
alcohol.
they'll
Have
study
you ever
about
seen?
two male crabs being
That's just like
homosexual, but
somebody
they
trying
won't
to play
study weed.
football drunk. If someone plays
All right.
football drunk,
I'm going to move on. Thank you. If you look
alcohol
at the
makes them better.
screen, this article was updated yesterday by Natalie Allison on Politico.com. It says in Las Vegas, days before the Republican National Committee was set to convene there, hundreds of Republican officials gathered in a casino ballroom Monday to vent their grievances about the party and warned that it is ill prepared for the 2024 election. "We are at war," one man shouted from a microphone at the event hosted by the conservative group Turning Point Action. "We are the tools. Where are all the little things that the left is doing, but we don't?" Some say that the RNC meeting led to another meeting on Capitol Hill by RNC elected officials where they are trying to actually make Donald Trump the sole nominee. Who wants to talk about that?
Well, yeah, that's a ridiculous idea. You have to win the delegates first. So if Nikki wants to hang around until Super Tuesday, if she has the funding to hang around and she's still competitive in the race, you got to let her hang around. You can't just make a decision for the party. Matter of fact, if we go back a few years, I think a lot of Democrats would say a decision like that was made for Hillary over Bernie Sanders, where they kind of put their thumb on the scale and ruined the process.
They didn't kinda. They did for real.
Well, hold on. And to the previous point where you brought up the Trump appeal thing as far as the money, this is the thing we talked about last week about fighting monsters. So even if you hate Trump's guts, you want him to have the same appeal process that's available to you. You don't want to take that away just because a person is a disgusting racist piece of.
I'm proud of you, Nas.
Are you in jail, sir? Where are you?
I think Cousin Todd and B of A are sharing a cell, and they're not allowed to have any.
So if you look at this AP article, the AP article says the RNC will meet privately after Trump allies pull resolution to call him the presumptive nominee. So this was done article was written January 30th by Thomas Beaumont. And it says the Republican National Committee is meeting behind closed doors this week as some allies of Donald Trump had hoped to put the group's stamp on the former president early in the 2024 GOP presidential nominating campaign. But a proposed resolution to declare Trump the presumptive nominee has been removed from the agenda before the committee is scheduled to meet in Las Vegas. The reversal comes as the first two early state contests have winnowed the Republican campaign down to two major candidates, with Trump as a heavy favorite and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley vowing to continue her uphill challenge. As you see, Bia Boffa just talked about that. Cousin Todd, do you want to comment? Okay, Cousin Todd's not available. Keith?
Hey, can I say, Stacey, that Bernie had a chance against Hillary when they rigged it so Bernie could not have any chance. They rigged it like that. They're not rigging it with Haley. Haley has no chance to beat Donald Trump. Everybody knows Donald Trump is going to be the nominee. So why not just let it go? Let's put the preliminaries behind. Let's put all of our strength into one thing and pull everybody together, because we know what's going to happen and what has to happen. That we have to make what was wrong before, make it right now for Donald Trump and his supporters, because his supporters aren't going anywhere. And all we're doing is gathering more supporters from all over this country. Everybody understands how bad this country is and how good it was under Donald Trump and how bad it is now. And everybody's going to go with Donald Trump. You might bring somebody in. Maybe you'll bring in Taylor Swift. Maybe her and Kelsey will be the president, vice president or something. But right now, ain't nothing beating Donald Trump in this country. If there's a fair election, if there's a real election, you cannot beat Donald Trump, because we have the enthusiasm on our side. Y'all have somebody who died 2 years ago. You have nothing.
So
Who's y'all?
you're treating the Nikki Haley supporters and voters as if they don't matter within
They
your
don't
caucus.
matter. They do
And
not matter.
also,
They're
and
irrelevant.
also,
They're
and also,
irrelevant.
Stacy, let me say
you
this.
seem
John
also,
F. K. Jr. should be running as much as her.
Wait a
John F.
minute,
K.
Stephen. Let you
also,
spoke. Let both and then Keith.
and also, you seem pretty confident about this overwhelming, easy victory when we just heard that the Republican Party met up in Las Vegas to discuss methods and tactics because they feel they're behind in certain areas. So I don't know
But
if
they
that
might
holds
be.
up to what you're saying.
Right. They might be, but they do have the people behind them. The
How
populace
do
is
you know
behind
this?
them.
This is just like your weed comment. You're not
Because
anything.
there are polls to support what I'm saying.
What poll?
Every poll that says
Every
your
poll.
boy Joe Biden has no chance.
Let's go to
Nikki Haley has
Thank
no
you.
Let's
chance.
go to
That's what all the
They don't
Thank
polls
say
are
you.
that.
saying.
Polls don't say that.
Thank you,
Let me
Keith.
say that,
Go ahead, Keith.
yeah, let me just say that there have also been reports. Stephen, I don't know if you've heard of this. The other guys probably won't admit it, but there are polls that said that Nikki Haley supporters were Democrats who
Yeah,
have
I heard that, Keith.
to
Yep.
Republicans.
Mhm.
They did
I knew
that so
that.
they could vote against Trump, and they
Right.
do it all the time.
Of course. That's why she can't win. That's why nobody likes her, because we're not stupid, Keith. We all know this about Nikki Haley. We all know what she did. We all know who voted for her. That's why she needs to step down now and let's go about the business of winning this election, because
Yeah,
they're going to try to steal. They're doing it now by
yeah,
having Trump in court. Having Trump in court with that woman who's insane that he would never rape. Trump has security around him for decades. He has security around him to keep crazy women like her away from him. Donald
Can we
Trump
do
wouldn't
like
even
5
say
more
hello to
minutes of
that
this?
woman. Donald Trump
Let
wouldn't
me.
even say
All right,
hello
is this
to her
the
hardly.
yeah.
But he would rape her. There's no evidence he raped her. All of that is a
Right.
Well, I
farce.
got
That's a
83
crazy
million.
woman
I have
making
83
up
million
lies.
reasons
That's
why
a crazy woman
our
making
jury
up
doesn't
lies, and
agree
she
with
will
you.
never get a penny. And she should go to
Yes, she
prison
will.
for what
Yes, she
the
will.
lies she told on
She may
Donald
not get
Trump.
83 million, but
She
she's
should
going to
go
get
to
paid. She
jail
already got
for the
paid.
lies
This
she
is the second
told against
lawsuit.
him, because
This is
she
the
pulled him.
second lawsuit.
What did he do to her? He's running for president.
Well, it
She's
doesn't
trying to
matter.
destroy
He's
him.
going to
Okay.
pay.
Thank
He's
He
you.
going to
should
pay.
Thank
sue
you.
her for
He's
every
going to pay.
dollar she has, because
He
she's
won't.
going to be
He's going
done.
to pay. He
All
won't.
right.
There's
Thank
You
you.
can say
shit.
all that
Donald
you
Trump
want
is
to,
did not.
Stephen.
That is
The facts
more.
Okay,
are
Stacy,
That's
can
a
you
banana
shut up?
republic.
How long
That's
are you
not a
You've
gonna
real
been
talk?
talking
trial.
for
the
20
jury
How
minutes.
of his
long are
peers
you gonna
ruled
talk?
The
against
jury,
him.
that wasn't
He
jury of his
had
peers. That's
83
New York
million.
City, and it
Stacy,
That's
was
why he
phony
has
and it's
to
control
fake.
him.
And
You're
nobody
not
believes
in
it's
your
real.
Redneck off
you're
the
You
not in your
don't
street.
believe
fantasy
it's
land.
real, Laguna. You don't.
Reality is it,
Unbelievable. Shut up.
you let him raid on all this
That's
nonsense.
Stacy's crazy.
Let's break it down back to reality. He was found guilty. He can appeal the 83 million, but you better believe he's going to pay. He's not going to be, oh, I'm not going to pay a dime. He's going to pay. And just because
He
a
was found
celebrity
guilty twice.
has people around him doesn't mean they don't break the law. You know, you can have bodyguards, you're still going to do drugs, that's breaking the law. So just this idea that in the Stephen echo chamber, that all of America, all of a sudden is going to coalesce around Donald Trump, which, by the way, I think we can do better than Donald Trump. And if you think about Nikki Haley, all she's going to do is wait it out, because at the end of the day, he may get disqualified because he's getting all these lawsuits are against. So why would you guys want to jump behind a candidate that has left himself liable in so many ways against so many people, with this grandiose idea that because he's so controversial and he pisses people off, that's why we got to get behind him. Steve, Keith,
And Stephen is the one that
Trump
said he
is
was
a
a
Democrat.
criminal.
He's a
He was a
Democrat running as a
dictator.
Republican.
Yeah.
Yet all of a sudden, Trump is the most conservative candidate that we have
the
right
best
now.
Christian in the
so
world.
people, and he's just, again, we'll see how it plays out. But no, their election was not stolen. He lost. There are more registered Democrats in this country than there are Republicans. It's just the math. Just look at the math. We just get back to reality. Stacey keeps letting Stephen come on this show and go on these rants with nonsense. And he thinks that if he yells loud enough to the camera and gets real close, whatever comes out, nonsense comes out his mouth is actually true.
Right.
And it's not.
Yeah.
The election.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to go into immigration. I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
Well,
So
before
I'm
we
gonna tell
went
the
to
audience,
immigration,
Steven is
were
going to
just,
have a
Now,
meltdown during this topic. He's going to have a meltdown if he comes back
we were just
during this topic.
talking
Let's wait,
about
Steven.
radicalization. I thought you would make the transition into radicalization, but that's
well, I'll
okay.
do radicalization after this. If you look at the screen, this is a CNN.com article. It says Texas seized part of the U.S.-Mexico border and blocked federal patrol agents. And then this is going to talk about what happened next. Let me share this tab instead. Eagle Pass, Texas, has turned into the epicenter of a growing feud between Texas and federal authorities over how to tackle the migrant crisis and who has jurisdiction over that part of the U.S.-Mexico border. The dispute intensified on January 10th when Texas authorities effectively blocked U.S. Border Patrol agents from a 2.5-mile area in Eagle Pass, which had seen a surge of migrant crossings. This area includes Shelby Park, a city park on the Rio Grande that is now fenced off with gates and razor wire impeding the Border Patrol's access. On January 12th, after the Texas Military Department seized and secured Shelby Park, 2 children and a mother drowned in a nearby part of the Rio Grande. 2 children and a mother. Now, Texas and U.S. officials are accusing each other of contributing to the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. This is horrible. Stephen or Keith, I wanted you to talk about why the federal government was blocked and stopped by Texas authorities from doing their job.
Oh man, we were just trying to get through there. Otherwise, we came up. We were just trying to. We're not trying to do anything wrong. They called us criminals.
Hey,
We're not criminals.
I thought she called on Keith instead of this racist idiot.
What were we trying to do? Everybody's so mean to us, man. No. Stacy, the story you've brought up is from
Bless
January
you, or is your
12th.
face
The
permanently red?
story you've brought up is old and it's been disputed already. They weren't trying to do anything wrong. Nobody's trying to do anything wrong. What we're trying to do in Texas is trying to stop the influx of people just tearing into our country and destroying our country. And the other side wants this to happen. Why would we agree to this? Why would anybody in this country agree that we should have 10 million people come through and we don't know anything about it, who they are, where they are. We know this about them. It's from 70 countries. About 70% of them
Can we move on?
are military fighting age. Why are we allowing this? Why does Joe Biden not want Texas to secure its borders? Why does Joe Biden not want Texas to or other states to secure their borders, Stacy? It's not logical, Stacy. I don't understand it, Stacy. We're not the radicals here. This never been like this in this country, Stacy. It's never been like this in this country. We are being invaded. We're all in.
Can you say something new?
Thank you,
Bring something new to the conversation.
If you don't like it, why don't you go back to where you came from?
A question for Nas and Aguna and Todd. Would any of them allow me to walk onto their property or enter their property or home without their permission? Or without,
so that way I can remove your teeth manually.
Can I do that?
Yeah, because my private property is the same as 3,000 mile long border.
Hey, let me finish.
My private property is the same.
Okay, let him finish, Aguna. Let him finish, and then you're next.
You can
go ahead, Keith.
You can lie after I finish.
Keith, Keith.
Keith, chase him with a bottle of lotion.
Keith, you can't ask Aguna a question and then expect him not to answer it. Okay, so don't ask him a question in the middle of your response. So go ahead.
There's a mute button there, buddy.
My question before I even got it out. But
anyway, you don't seem to be able to operate the mute button.
I was saying if I were to walk onto any one of their property, I'm not going to ask them a question.
Well, you just asked that question. Now you're going to ask it again.
Walk on the United States of America without their permission, then they have the right to stop.
Private property and a country are the same.
Now, that's the same principle because it's the same law.
Oh, it's the same principle,
we have
not
the
the same reality.
Protect our country. And here it is right here. I'll just say
My
this.
private property is like a 3,000 mile long
Stacey.
border.
Stacey, let me say this and I'm done. No state,
You're done.
no
You're
state,
done all right.
no state shall enter into any agreement or compact with another state or with a foreign power or engage in war unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger. This country is in imminent danger because the illegal immigrants are committing crimes within the United States right now as I speak. There was a mob.
Did you go to
It's
speed
just
limit
crime.
today?
It's not just crime. It's going to
Go
be
to speed limit
terrorism like
today.
you've never
Shut
seen
up,
in this
redneck.
country.
Federal
You
Shut
broke
up.
the
Gonna
law
be
today.
terrorism.
Both of y'all broke the law today.
Shut up, redneck.
That's a federal
Both of y'all broke the law today
offense.
at some
Attack
point.
a police officer.
Okay, look at this article.
You didn't
This
go
is
to speed limit though.
they're reporting 10 minutes. They updated this at 5:25 p.m. It's a 10-minute read though, but Denver nears its breaking point as migrants and the cold pile in. This is what an overrun city can look like. A preschooler sleeping under a bridge for a month. Crowds lining up each night to get food and shelter, and the mayor calling out for help. And when that city is Denver in the winter, the overnight temperatures sink below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. The problems are life threatening. Our city is really struggling, says Mayor Mike Johnston after he visited families in a makeshift encampment, a sign of the unfolding emergency triggered by the mass arrival of people from outside the city. This is both a humanitarian crisis for the individuals that are arriving, and it's a fiscal crisis for
It's
the
okay with Aguna.
Those two crises
Yeah.
are coming together to a head right now.
It's okay.
Who is
It
next?
sure
Who
is.
is next?
That's okay with Aguna and Nas.
Shut up, Keith. Turn your mic.
You
Can't
put
hear
yourself
you.
on mute, Aguna. We can't hear you.
If you don't turn your mic on,
We can't hear you.
My mic went off. Sorry about that. At the end of the day, for the last month, we've heard the same talking points, the same complaints. Stephen and Keith have come on the show and complained about the border, and they have offered absolutely no solutions other than
I
elect
did.
Enforce
and
the
build a
law.
wall
I
and do all this
did.
nonsense.
I
It's
did.
a complex issue.
shut up,
At the end of
redneck.
the day,
I did.
you have to fix the system and come up with a comprehensive immigration policy. But you know what? Nobody wants to do that because people are running on it. Donald Trump said the quiet thing out loud. Don't fix the border because I want to run on it. The
Yeah.
He didn't
Republicans in
say
the
that.
House, yes,
He
he
said
did.
it.
He
No,
did.
he did not.
Redneck.
Don't fix the border. I want to
Shut
run
up,
on it.
redneck.
Come on, Aguna. That's the
Shut
biggest
up,
lie you've
redneck.
ever
Oh,
told.
here we go. Hey, I like you better with the Scully on.
We ain't married to you. You ain't got a lot of us.
Let's yell louder on the stream, and maybe I'll be right. At the end of the day, they don't want to fix the problem. There's
Yes, they
legislation out there
do.
not to get 100%.
Shut up, redneck.
That's
No,
not true.
They don't want to fix the problem. They
That's
want
not
to run on the
true.
issue.
He's lying.
Yell
We
louder.
want to fix
Yell
the
louder.
problem.
Steven, you gotta
Yell
let him finish.
louder.
You gotta
Come
let him
on,
finish.
Stacey. You can't
But
let him
at the
sit
end
here
of
and
the day- At
lie.
the end of the day, see, here we go.
You
Here we
did.
go.
He's
It's all
lying
because
on
it's
us.
reality.
He's
Okay,
lying.
thank you,
Moron.
Stephen. Thank you, Aguna.
We need it,
I'm not
Stacey.
done yet,
We need the
Stacey.
border
Let
to
me
be
say
Bofa
this
and
closed.
Cousin
crazy.
Todd.
So
We
my
need our
whole
federal
thing is this.
government to
At the
shut
end of
the
the
border
day,
down.
to our viewers,
No, what
you're
he's
gonna
going to
see
say was a
who's on
lie.
this show
We said go
yelling.
back to what Trump
Sophie,
said.
You a
He's
liar.
Go
not
back to what.
offering any solutions. He's not offering any solutions. He's just angry and complaining for no
Go
reason.
back to what
Okay, thank
Donald
you.
Trump did. That's a.
Yes.
You
Yes.
got to
Thank
get off
Idiot.
the show, Steven.
Okay,
Gosh,
be
no
Bofa
facts.
and then Cousin Todd.
Yeah, let's lock kids in cages and separate them from their
That
families.
was
Let's do it. Let's
Obama.
do that. Let's
Obama
do
locked
that.
kids in.
Shut up,
No,
man.
that's what Trump
Bofa,
did.
Bofa,
Truth, I bet you $1 million. You got a
Shut
million.
up, man.
And
Bofa.
he cannot be. He's
It's hard to
bringing
have
this
a
show
real
down.
conversation
He
when you have
is. He
ignorant
just
people
talks over
whose
me.
IQ is too low to be on this show. Like, I mean, that's just the
Go ahead,
reality.
Bofa.
And
But
then
I'm
we got
smarter than you.
Bofa.
Where are
And
you
then we
at?
got
Shut
this
up.
smiling Cheshire cat over there cheesing with all those teeth. It's hard to have a real conversation with these people. Like, these are not
Bofa.
serious people.
He doesn't have.
Sorry, they're not. So
Bofa,
Keith, he
anyway,
did-
so anyway, going back to what Aguna said, yes, we read reports about not only Trump applying pressure to Republican senators and congressmen about how, no, don't fix this issue. This is something I want to run on. This is not some spooky thing that Aguna found on the deep web. Like, this is widely known. The fact that you don't read or update on the newest news is a problem for a show that covers the news. So because the Republicans want to run on this as an issue, they don't actually want to fix it. So Joe Biden, who again is a center-right Democrat, he is not a Marxist, a socialist. He doesn't want open borders or anything like that. When they came to him and said they wanted to go to more extreme measures on the border, Joe Biden said, okay, fine, draw it up. I'll do it. Because nothing Joe Biden wants more than to have this issue resolved, and then the Republicans can't use it as a brickbat later on during this election cycle. So when you hear Stephen and Keith having their emotional tantrums, as you know, toddlers normally do, you get an idea about how they see the game for what it is. This is the only issue that they really can throw on the pavement to everybody and say, hey, this is what we actually believe in.
We don't even need the border as an issue to show you how bad your president is. We don't even need the border.
Because they don't actually have positions or policy and everything else is culture war BS, they realize they need this really bad. So this is why we saw the state of Texas overreact and had a standoff with the federal government. Basically, if Joe Biden had been a little more strict president and actually sent those troops down there and physically remove the Texas Guard, think about what the position of the country could be right now. Like the Civil War stuff people were talking about, of course, it wouldn't have went to that extreme, but we could have had a monumental event on that border where basically the state group would have had to stand down because the federal troops would have had to be brought in. So yeah, man, this is really sad that these guys would play politics to that extreme. But that's the Republican Party right now. And Raggedy Abbott, when you look at this situation in Colorado, so Abbott and DeSantis in Florida, they're sending people to areas that don't have the budget to account for all of these extra people they're sending in. And then when the thing goes bad, then they get up and say, see, those Dems did this. No, you did this. If you didn't want those people here, you should have deported them. By sending them to another state, you're basically setting those people up for failure, hurting the local economy of those people, and then treating these, actual human beings as political poker chips.
Texas can't deport them.
Shut up.
Texas can't deport them. Shut up. Texas can't deport them.
Shut up.
You said deport them. Texas can't do that. These border states would love to deport them. They have to send them to other states because these border states cannot handle them. The border states can't handle these people.
Cousin Todd. Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
Okay, yes, Stacey has lost control of the show. And this is what people think when they watch Stacey's show, that she has no control because they say this white boy is crazy.
Well, now I'll just mute you since you think I have no control.
The truth is just the truth.
Here's the problem.
My people tell me this when they watch the show. But anyway, Mitch McConnell talked about that, Stephen, which I'm asking you any questions. Mitch McConnell talked about your president not wanting to do anything until he gets elected, because he alone can solve the problem. Now, they don't want to do anything because they can run on it. Now, I know you and Keith don't know this. Now, Aguna and what's his name again? Bofa. They think you people are smarter than you are. I know you're not.
The Republicans don't have the power to stop it right now. They're trying. Republican governors are trying.
You don't know.
And they are. They are. And our federal government's going against the governors that are trying to stop it.
Okay, now.
All right, Bofa and Stephen, are you finished?
Damn right.
The radicalization,
I'm not. I
Go
can't.
ahead.
Okay, so I was saying they don't know that their president Trump wants nothing to happen at the border. The president begged Congress to do something. It's not the president's fault. It's Congress that has to pass laws, not the president.
Right.
Now, when Obama took
Executive
a pen and did executive order, Keith and Stephen had a fit.
He's a
because he
dictator.
can't-
He's a
That's right.
dictator.
He's a dictator. So now all of a sudden they want a dictator. They want Biden can do something. Biden can't. That's the Congress's
He said,
job.
Congress, do your job.
Now, so these people, they don't know anything.
Of course not.
And they've been radicalized, just like this.
They just like to complain. Stephen complains on the show every.
Well, no, he really doesn't.
Our country's being invaded.
Yell at the camera and complain.
Our country's being invaded.
We're
in trouble.
Let Todd finish. We got to move on.
Good luck.
Todd, you can't go on for the rest of the show.
Why
Make
not?
your point
Stephen does.
distinctly.
And so what happens is these people watch Fox News and they believe it.
I don't watch Fox News.
And what
I don't believe
Fox
everything I
News
hear.
does, it lies to them, but they suck it up. And as a matter of fact, Tucker Carlson had to go to court for lying. And the judge said, sure, he's lying. You should expect that.
Okay, thank you.
That's Fox
Move
News.
on. Okay, thank you, Cousin Todd. Move on to, you said you want to talk about someone being radicalized. I'm going to
Stephen
share
and Keith.
the screen. A very, very sad story. Pennsylvania man accused of decapitating his father and showing the head on YouTube. That was reported today on Reuters at 5:35 p.m. And that is the man. But let me read what it says. A Pennsylvania man was ordered to be held without bail today after being charged with killing his father and showing his decapitated head in a YouTube video. Justin Mon of Middletown Township was charged on Wednesday with first-degree murder, abuse of a corpse, and possession of an instrument of a crime in a Bucks County court, where a judge ordered the 32-year-old to remain in custody, the district attorney's office said in a statement. Police went to the family's Middletown Township home on Tuesday evening after receiving a call from the suspect's mother. There they found the suspect's father, 68-year-old Michael, decapitated in a bathroom with a large amount of blood around him and a knife and machete in the bathtub. After the killing, Mon posted a 14-minute video on YouTube titled Mon's Militia Call to Arms for American Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Police said in a probable cause affidavit posted online, the video was viewed more than 5,000 times before it was taken down. The suspect showed the viewers his father's head twice and identified him by saying his name. And as he read from a script, he also said his father, who worked for the federal government, was a traitor, railed against the Biden administration, and described himself as a militia leader.
Oh, okay.
Now I see why we're talking about it.
Same spat of political violence in the United States since the 1970s. Cousin Todd.
Well, this story, we weren't going to talk about it, but because I thought it was just so gruesome. But then I said maybe we should, because people on this show have been radicalized, just like the girl that was trying to get into the Capitol building and was shot. Her family said she was radicalized, no different than Keith, because once Keith was against Donald Trump and said he was a dictator or criminal, blah, blah, blah.
No, he did not.
Stephen, you said it.
I did not.
Okay.
You and the devil, the greatest liars that ever lived.
Okay. What I will do, Stephen, is I will bring clips next week and
of
listen.
Your toenails.
And this is
that your fetish?
Shut up.
Stephen, you admitted you were never Trumper. You admitted that.
I was a never Trumper, but the stuff he's saying. But what he's saying is not true. I was a never Trumper. And I was worried about Trump because I am an independent thinker.
It's not your turn, man. Just shut up.
Stacey won't mute him.
Why is he always telling me to shut up?
Because you talk too much.
Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
So Stephen,
I don't ever tell you to shut up, man.
Stephen said that Donald Trump was a dictator when he was cavorting with Putin.
He
sided with
just
Putin.
The lack of discipline. He's like a child.
Oh yeah,
he should have a children's table.
But
I know because
there was a particular date.
His cousin Todd. We still love him.
there was a particular date when he said that. It was right after on the ellipse. Donald Trump said he doesn't see why he would lie about it, talking about Putin. So that's when he said he's a dictator. And why would he side with the enemy? So anyway, but
because that's what the media was telling us. That's what the FBI told us. But it turned out that was all a lie. All of that was a lie, Todd.
Okay.
And when I found out that they lied to me, then I stopped believing them. That's what changes you from me, is you still believe the lies. I don't believe their lies anymore. All they
Okay, Todd, sum it
I'm
up.
going to say this and I'm finished.
Thank you, Todd. And see, Todd does this. Todd throws a rock and hides its hand.
No, I said I'm going
him riled up. Todd
gosh.
gets Stephen riled up
by telling
and then
the
he
truth.
Says, why does Stephen say all these things? And he knows how to trigger him. And then says, Stacey, you can't control your show. Oh, it's hilarious.
Let me just say this, and then I'm finished. Now, what Stephen just said is, okay, I said it. But that's because I was believing them. Did you all catch that? First, he said he did not say it. Now he's saying, I said it, but
I'm saying I didn't say
them.
Don't say anything.
You have a chance to respond, Stephen. Just
You'll
stop.
get your redneck chance. Just be quiet.
And so anyway,
I wasn't never.
These people have been radicalized.
Because you're triggering Stephen.
These people
I'm not triggered.
And
you're triggered.
Shut up, chicken hawk.
What happened when Stephen calls the Democrats evil? They're evil. Joe Biden is evil. Democrats is evil. It's that kind of verbiage that
makes you think he's radicalized.
Exactly.
Thank you,
which this a crazy person took that kind of speech and went hog wild and decapitated his father.
Which was a
That's
horrible
a crazy person. He's like his.
Okay, wait.
He's like you.
That's a horrible thing.
I wouldn't cut nobody's head off.
That's horrible. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their family. The most horrible thing in the world. And obviously that person, I believe, has some sort of mental health illness. So, Stephen, now this is your chance to respond.
Respond to what, Stacey? To this man that got killed by his son that was insane and cut his head off?
I love it.
Yeah, there's people in this world that will cut your head off, and they're crazy people. And some of them are like Islamists, and they're radicalized, and they'll cut your head off. I'm not radicalized. I'm a peaceful person. I never hurt anybody that's not come after me. I will protect myself, my family, and the United States of America, for which it stands. But I am not a radical person that's going out trying to start violence, because I am on the Trump side, because I am an intelligent person.
You are.
I had all the reason in the world. I had all the reason in the world to be suspicious of Donald Trump, and I'm still suspicious of him. But he's better than anything that's on the other side. He's better than Joe Biden. He's better than Kamala. He's better than Barack Obama and his husband, or whoever else. I don't care. He's better than all of these people. He's better than all of these people, and the country will be better. Because Donald Trump, all this crap that they put on him, Aguna, that you're talking about, is all fake. And you know it's all fake. And it's all wrong. No, I don't care where your politics are. If you're in this country and you're a good American, you should understand. You should understand. Nobody should be treated the way Donald Trump was treated. I don't care what your politics are. If you don't agree with that, then you're just not a human being. There's something's wrong with you, and you might cut your father's head off because you don't have a damn brain in your head. The thing that's going on in this country is we're losing our country right now. Donald Trump is for our country. He's not on the Democrat side. He's not on the Republican side. He's on our side. The populist movement is going on all around the world. You have, please drop your Marxist, socialist, communist garbage, because no country can sustain that. None of y'all will survive. Nobody will survive if we stay on the track we're on now. We have got to. The first part is getting Trump into office. We have to win the Senate. We have to win the House.
Get out of here.
We are this close to losing our country.
That's why the boy killed his father.
You can't let that many people through our border. No country can survive this. This is an invasion. This is an invasion. We're all in trouble.
Back to where you came from.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on. Thank you very much, Stephen. He had the opportunity to respond. Um, I want to move on to talk about a little something different to kind of calm everyone down. The FBI director.
Stacey, at least let me
We
just get a
can't
quick
end
turn.
it on that. We can't have
let me-
our viewers listen to that and segue into a calmer conversation. We have to call it crazy out when crazy happens on the show. We
Okay,
allowed him to
well,
go
go ahead,
on.
Aguna.
We allowed him to
You
go
have to
on.
call
We
out what
allowed
you
him to
think
say
wasn't.
all this nonsense.
Go
He's
ahead.
already called me a
It is
name.
unsubstantiated. I didn't even call you, and I don't have to.
He said
You
crazy.
embarrass yourself.
First thing he said.
Everything was unsubstantiated.
It's not.
Everybody did better. I don't know what side he's on. I'm on the side of America. In America, you have multiple views. And if you lose the election, you step down. You don't whine and complain. You don't try to use scare tactics and scapegoating. Or this has happened a lot in this country. Before it was the Mexicans, it was the blacks. Before it was the blacks, it was also the Jews. Everything that Stephen and the hate that he's spewing out.
I have no hate.
Stuff,
Damn you for that.
You're full of hate.
I have no hate for anybody.
At the end of the day, we can fix the border. We can fix the border crisis by enacting laws, and it's Congress's job to do that. But what's happening in the House is dead on arrival. The Senate bill is dead on arrival. They haven't even read it. They don't even look at it. They're like, it's dead on arrival. They don't even want to do their job. They did not
read it.
Because
they did read it. There's stuff in it that they don't want. There's stuff in it they don't want.
It hasn't gone to the House yet. So that's a lie. You don't know how government works. And Lankford, who's a conservative from Louisiana who helped crafted the bill and worked with the Democrats on it, by the sheer did that, they want to censure him from doing his job. We're doing the job of the Congress, right? So that's what we're living at. And then when we come here on this show, you can't even have an educated conversation. What Stephen just did, what he just talked about, was as un-American and as radical as they come. That's what's tearing the country apart. But what happens is he comes on the show, he projects hate, and then all of a sudden he's saying he's doing it for the love of the country.
They're evil. They're evil.
Where did I project hate? Who did I hate? Where did I project hate?
Joe Biden is evil.
Shut up, redneck.
And
Democrats are evil.
And no, it's not. We're not going backwards. We're going forward. So whether or not you're going to try to get Trump in there and try to somehow radicalize this whole populist movement, talking about populism is destroying the country. Populism is anti-capitalism, and this country is built.
No, it's not.
No, I don't want Trump in there so he can sit there and say, "Don't sell U.S. steel because we want to make it made in America." But the stock price will go through the roof if they sell it because that's what happens in a capitalist.
What the hell you're talking about?
It's exactly the
Okay, we're
talking about. What is he? What are you talking about?
I know it's over your head because it's logical.
No, it's not over my head. You're talking about something that's irrelevant. The price of steel. How about you talk about the price of tea in China? Talk about the price of tea in China. What are you talking about?
Be allowed to even engage in the debate.
Word salad. Word salad out your mouth.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, stop. You embarrassed yourself.
By letting him speak is an insult to the viewer.
You're embarrassing yourself.
Thank you.
That would be
Thank you. We're going to move on. We're going to move on.
I'm embarrassing myself after that.
Yeah, you did. Stupid.
All right, we're
out
of time.
You have
hey, what about the
nothing
We're
else
out
to
of
say.
time.
You're better than
that. Start our roundtable, and we're going to talk about a few things in this roundtable. One, Israel, Hamas. Specifically, we're going to start with.
This is going to be another rant. It's going to be another rant.
You only have
the same thing from
25
last
seconds.
week.
Keith, Stephen.
Are we going to talk about the?
We have to talk about in the roundtable because we're out of time.
Okay.
Keith, Stephen, Bofa, Aguna, Cousin Todd. We're out of time, so we're going to have to talk about a few things. One would be, if you know about it, the Justice Department investigating Democratic Representative Cori Bush over alleged misuse of campaign funds. Mark Zuckerberg apologizing to families over social media harms in the Senate hearing today. And the FBI director warning that Chinese hackers are preparing to wreak havoc on the U.S. critical infrastructure. Okay, so let's start with Keith.
Unmute yourself, you Skeletor looking.
We can't hear you, Keith.
Use the mute button.
She muted me and she didn't unmute me. So
You can
I
do
never.
it yourself.
Anyway,
Self-responsibility, conservative.
it's funny how Nas accuses Stephen of being a racist when Nas called him a redneck. But I guess
I did.
That was
Anyway,
3 shows ago.
I did.
Catch up.
Yeah, he's retarded, man. Don't be mean to
His
him, man.
neck
He's a little-
was
he's
red.
you got issues.
Were
Don't
those
beat them up.
words?
See,
What were you trying to say?
I can have a conversation with any of these guys and disagree or agree, but these guys, they can't do it, and they accuse of being the ones who are unreasonable. I just
I
don't
just
get
want
it.
an educated
But that's
debate.
the way
I
left
just want
is.
somebody on my level to
Left
have
is
an
always
educated
accusing
conversation with.
the other
You got too much
side
to ask.
doing what they are doing. The left always
She gave you a plate
Right.
of issues
of
to
doing
tackle.
what they
You
always
had a
do.
conversation
So
about
Cory Bush is just doing what they usually do, and they accuse Republicans of. So it's
you
not
don't
much.
know the
Right.
details. I'm assuming you don't know the details.
Yeah, just
No.
like
No,
I know.
You don't know. You don't know the details.
Bush
no
is
Okay,
details.
thank you. Excuse me. The second part, Keith.
No,
The
no,
second
it's all
part
right. Move on.
was the second part was first was Cory Bush. The second one was the Senate of social
Zuckerberg.
media CEOs talking about what they're doing in their social media platforms, how they may be harming children. And the third one was the Chinese hackers preparing to wreak havoc on the U.S. critical infrastructure, warning by the FBI director, Keith. The last two.
what they're doing to the children. The parents have to take control, and that's that. I mean, I have nieces, and I don't my wife and I, we watch over them closely. We're legal guardians, just like their grandmother. So we don't let them they don't even have a cell phone, and one's 14 years old. She wants a cell phone, but no cell phone for her. So, you got to control. The parents are going to have to take back control. That's a conservative idea.
Okay. The FBI.
The FBI.
Okay, FBI and warning that the Chinese are going to wreak havoc on the United States electronically.
Well, you know what? This administration doesn't care because the FBI also warned of the dangers of illegal aliens coming across the border, and they're doing nothing. They hadn't changed their policy. So I am all for Trump's policy.
Which policy did they not change?
Well, they're not enforcing
from
the
Trump.
law.
Did they carry
Section
forward?
8, USC section. I mean,
No. You made a specific accusation.
International law.
Can you make that claim true?
Say that we have a right. Every state has a right by the laws of nature. And nature
no more border police. Nobody
borders.
taking people into custody.
And we need to do it based on that law. The laws of nature.
All right, this is his round table.
The laws of nature.
Count Chocula should just go get in his coffin and end the show.
The laws of nature and nature's God supersede
Nobody's doing anything.
all other laws. Human law is invalid if it's contrary to the laws of nature, nature's God. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Can't change that, Keith. Nobody can.
That's right. That's
Okay,
why
thank
God,
how's Blueberry doing, Count Chocula?
God will deal with him. He'll deal with them.
Okay, thank you.
Jesus.
Now we're going to go to Stephen, but what I'm going to do to help you all is show the title of what you're talking about, because I think you're kind of off.
Oh, no, you don't have to do it for me, Stacey. I'm ready.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I mean, we got Cory Bush. We start with Cory Bush. I'm not surprised. This is, there's a lot of people that have like Fawny or Fanny. She's a bad person. She's the one that's gone after Donald Trump. She's a bad person. She's got her boyfriend. Yeah, Todd. She's got her boyfriend doing the case that they had no business doing, and she goes on business trips and everything. This is all taxpayer money.
Are you talking about Fannie Willis, sir?
Yeah, I'm talking about Fanny. Fanny. Yeah, she should be imprisoned. Cory Bush, if she did something wrong, she should be in prison. Hunter Biden, if he did something wrong, he should be in prison. If all these people that did something wrong, if Donald Trump did something wrong, he should be in prison. Hey, I don't have any skin like that, like y'all do. Y'all will never say that your people should be in prison. Then you have Zuckerberg. Crying about
the harm that's done to little children. He's crying, and people on TikTok are crying. Everybody's crying. It's so sad. They don't give a damn. They don't care about the children. Nobody cares about the children. That's why the super elite to do with the children what they want to do. They're running children through this country like no other country. They're enslaving sex slaves, children all over this country, and the elites are doing it. And they're the ones who are against us. The elites, the huge elites around the whole world are against us. The populace, the population is what I've been saying. And we have to go after them because they are tearing us down. Now we have the FBI director that warns us about the FBI director that warns us that the Chinese might be doing something. You know what? After the FBI has done everything they've done for the last 3 or 4 years, I believe the FBI is going to do this to us. I don't trust them at all. And they need to be disbanded right today. If Donald Trump was the president, there would be no FBI. The FBI has been horrible forever. The FBI has been horrible forever. And you know what? People on this show, your ancestors used to hate the FBI, but you love the FBI now because they love Joe Biden. And they're going after his enemies. And so is the CIA and the NSA. They're all going after the enemies of Donald Trump. We have hostages in prison. We have people that support Donald Trump. We have people that are lawyers for Donald Trump, and they're putting them all in prison. That's what they do in third world countries, people. And if you're on that side, remember, what's happening in this country right now is treason. And if you're on that side, you're committing treason too. And you know what happens to people who are treasonous? It's not pretty. Figure it out. Hey, why don't you Google it? Why don't you call Mark? Why don't you call Zuckerberg? Why don't you call Zuckerberg and ask him what happens to people who commit treason in this country? Because that's what's happening. That's what's happening in this country. This is not normal time. This is treason.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stacey, for letting me speak. Much love, Pete.
And then he says love. And then he says love afterwards. That is what happens when people get radicalized.
So that's what we ought to do.
So hold on, Aguda, it ain't your turn. Hold on. Hold on, Count Chocula.
No, you talked the whole
angry
time.
white
Count Chocula with no marshmallows.
You talked the whole time.
Sir, I don't want to Count Chocula. Calm down. I eat the other cereal.
We ought to do the same to you. No, you talked the whole time. Stephen talked, and then you didn't shut up. Yeah, do you want us?
Do you want me to get the ambulance for you? Are you gonna cry about it?
I respect the rules. I respect the laws. So I'll be quiet.
Okay, Bofa. Thank you, Bofa.
So the Cori Bush thing, this is basically like somebody stepped out of bounds. This is like the silliest, smallest infraction that anybody could enforce. Like really, they should leave this alone. But when a country is as divided as it is, and both parties are just basically looking at it as winner take all, then the violation is there. The person who was leading her security as her bodyguard, she and him developed a relationship, and now they're together. So Republicans are saying, wait a minute, he was working for you, therefore he was getting paid by the state, and that shouldn't happen. So they got a way to, kind of smack her on the hand on this. This is like a really small infraction. The penalty is not going to be that big, but it was there for them to step on. So they had the right to do that. Moving to the Zuckerberg stuff, what we heard tonight is part of that reasoning. It's not just the children who are exposed way too much to, being online, using their phones and tablets way too much. It's changing their ability to have attention to detail and to do long form things because their attention span is not what it was in previous generations due to a lot of what they've done. But the most sinister part is the radicalization. So the things we heard tonight from this person on the show are some of the similar things that guy who cut off his father's head said. He said the evil Biden regime. He also said they're sending troops over the border. They're coming to kill us. They're coming to take. This is how that thinking works. So when you look at Facebook and YouTube, and we heard Stephen earlier say, I don't watch Fox News because after a while, when you're taking your dope from Fox News isn't radical enough for you anymore. So that's when you go down the deep rabbit hole of Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even less qualified people tell you things that you should believe, and then you believe that's the way of the world. So yeah, really dangerous. I'm glad they were brought up in front of in front of a political body. And
so you think
get some
people convince me that I should believe something? I'm an independent thinker. I'm not like you.
No,
I'm not like a little baby bird that let
You're a moron. You don't think of anything.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Are you finished? You have one more, I think. FBI director.
He's triggered.
The FBI director. This sounds like we got caught doing something, and now we're like, hey man, they about to do something over here to us. Again, we've talked about this for years. In big boy politics, global stage, China, Russia, America. Yes, we're trying to hack each other. Yes, we're trying to do as much spyware and everything else as we can to each other. So this is the FBI saying, "Hey, watch out! We think they're on a aggressive move right now and trying to do something." So yeah, that's what they should do: make people alert and try to put a stop to it. And hopefully, our infrastructure holds up despite many conservative state houses who have cut budgets and probably left us in a place where we're really not most able to handle cyber attacks. So that's going to be an interesting thing going forward with infrastructure. Remember, Trump had infrastructure week every week and never did it. Kind of similar to that.
Thank you. Aguna.
Yeah, I know I'm short on time, but the Bush, like again, Nas touched on it. That is really a non-story. Again, we were in a political climate where I got your politics is front and center. So any type of distraction or anything that they can throw at the wall and make it stick, or throw red meat into the water for the sharks to grab, they're going to do it. As far as Mark Zuckerberg, I think that's the biggest problem. And being in a STEM major and knowing the access to data and access to information, you can see how things get out of hand. And I hope our viewers watch this show and listen. We try to have sensible conversation on here. We try to bring reality and talk, even if we disagree, bring data, bring logic to the conversation. It's usually a more fruitful exchange. But when you have just the inability to reason, the inability to articulate a sentence, the inability to engage in any meaningful conversation, and for that to be driven by just pure emotion and no data or reason, it's dangerous. And so when you get on different shows or you get into different forums or you talk about this to your relatives, friends, and you engage in these politics, all of a sudden you don't have to substantiate anything just because you feel someone makes you feel good. Donald Trump makes me feel like I'm important, knowing that this guy has a track record of killing the little man, not paying his bills. And the reason why he's in court now is nothing.
You got to sum it up, Aguna. We're running out of time.
So the last one is the Chinese, and this is another one where
I don't go. I'm an emotional person. I don't go my feelings. I study every day.
Look at this, viewers.
Study every day. Boy, you
can't study every day. I'm so far ahead of y'all. That's why I'm always right. I'm so far ahead of y'all. Y'all are pathetic. Y'all are pathetic little bums. Y'all are pathetic pretenders.
And we talk about
y'all are pretenders.
All the types of cyber warfare.
Pathetic.
You got to get off this show, Steven.
You're pathetic.
Back and forth. We've been at war with China for a while, and we've been at war with Russia. It's a misinformation campaign, and they do misinformation for useful idiots like the one up here to just spew out the same negative stuff and get it all screwed up again. So nothing new there. They're gonna hit us. We're gonna hit them back. But that's part of the.
Thank you from Aguna.
Everybody knows you're lying. Everybody knows.
Whatever. You can't even
everybody knows you're.
I'm going to say that.
Excuse me. Thank you from.
Even some attention.
I'll put $1,000 to every. I'll bet you $1,000.
Nobody gives.
Thank you. Thank you to Aguna, our voice of reason. Thank you, Aguna. Cousin Todd.
I'm the voice of reason.
Shut up, puppet.
Shut up, dumbass. Shut up, redneck. Shut up, redneck.
And make
I don't think that works.
I don't care.
Okay, I'm going to skip my round table. I'll skip. You've got to get out. I'll skip because that psychopath is. Go ahead.
He's radicalized.
He's been radicalized.
I'm radicalized. I tell nothing but the truth, and I'm always right.
Your
you
shirt
make our lives livable. Thank you to the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we're free to say whatever anyone chooses to on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Oguna, the Nigerian moderate Republican.
Birds, just read. Oh, just
Birds
read
are done.
Keith, the constitutional conservative.
White
And
man's
Count
heaven.
Chocula cosplay player.
White man's heaven.
Stephen, the independent thinker.
The man who looks like he's blushing, but no, his face is just red.
And my cousin Todd, who somehow disappeared. I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going on X, Twitch, Instagram, where we are streaming live right now, and TikTok, as well as Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. Thanks for joining us. It was a great show. I really enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
Really,
good night.
Man, take a Tylenol. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I want somebody to be able to tell me where I was wrong in anything I said today. I haven't been wrong. I might be a little bit emotional, but I was not wrong about anything I said. This is an invasion of our country. Do y'all want to dispute me on this?
You're never wrong about anything.
Yeah, I definitely can be wrong, but when I'm right, I know I'm right. This is an invasion of our country. We've never gone through this before in our country. This is gonna destroy. Aguna, you understand that this invasion is destroying our country, and we're all in a lot of trouble right now. We've never been this vulnerable. Aguna, we've never been this vulnerable ever, Aguna. Aguna, I don't know what you're fighting me for. I don't know what you're fighting me for. I don't understand you. I think you're a reasonably intelligent person. Why are you fighting me?
I'm asking you.
Aguna, I'm not lying. Keith, am I lying? Am I lying to him? This is an invasion. This is not politics. I don't care if Donald Trump doesn't win. I don't care if Joe Biden becomes king of the world. I don't care. What I'm saying is what they're doing in their southern border is going to destroy this country. So what you're saying is you don't care. Are you saying you don't care about this country?
Have you ever interacted with a migrant? Have you talked to anyone from south of the border or anybody? Have you engaged?
Yes, I have a lot of friends south of the border. Yes, we're in trouble. It's not south of. There's 70 countries that people are coming to right now.
Do you see them
people that are no country can withstand this?
Do you see them as human beings?
I love everybody. You know that. I see them as human beings. They're not coming here to love me. They're coming here to kill me. You don't understand. I'm telling you the truth. It's not that I don't love everybody, but they're sending these people that are military age over here to.
All right. Okay, excuse me.
I gotta stop you all. I'm trying to talk reasonable.
Yeah,
I'm being reasonable.
These are each contributor's opinions. We have to make that clear. Go ahead, Aguna, and then we're going to.
I asked him a simple question. Do you know any migrants? Have you talked to them? He said,
"Yes, I know." And yes, I've got many friends. I've got many friends from El Salvador. I have many friends from.
Are they here legally? Or are they here illegally?
I'm not saying how they're here at all. There's none of your business how they're here. I'm just saying I have many friends, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying this is not.
Let him finish. Go ahead, Aguna. You gotta stop asking the question and make your point. Just make your point, Aguna, because you're never gonna get.
He's saying so. He says he talked to migrants. He says they are his friends. I'm interested to know if he wants to send them back right now. So he says they're his friends, and he says he's talked to them. So you're okay with sending those people that you talk to that are so-called your friends back to where they're coming from?
Because if they come in here illegally, they cannot stay. Yes, they're my good friends, but they cannot stay.
And you would send them back.
I will have no choice because we have laws in this land. I do not have a choice. We have laws in this land. We cannot. They cannot stay. No, they cannot. No, and Aguna, they're coming through every day. Aguna.
But you want them to go home and back to where they came.
I don't want them to. I want them to stay. What I'm saying is, there's
so
people.
You want them to stay, if you want them to stay, what things are you willing to allow them to do to contribute to the economy? Maybe not get citizenship, but at least have a better way of life.
If they're in this country illegally, they have to go. If they break the law, they can. Because you know what? No other country will accept me. If I'm there illegally, no other country will accept.
We have to have sovereignty in this country, Aguna. No other country would accept us. I can't go to Nigeria. I can't go to Nigeria. They say, hey, white boy, get your ass out of here, huh?
Have you turned them in?
I don't know the status of these people. I don't know if they're legal or illegal. But I think people should come here legally. I don't know their I don't know their status.
Why don't you ask them? How do you know? I asked you if you knew any migrants. You said.
So let me ask you.
Yes, I know that. I don't want to know.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. You're going on and on. You're not getting to any type of. I want you to sum it up.
Here's my point, and it's important because with the questions I was asking him, and when he was responding, he couldn't go into this narrative rant. It humanized the people he was dealing with. I was forcing him, the independent person, to actually think.
You're not forcing me. I've talked about these people before.
I'm bringing it to the kitchen table. How many people do you know that are in this situation? And what if you're so-called their friends? What are you going to do to resolve it? That's how you solve the problem. All this nonsense about being invaded.
Aguna, it ain't no nonsense. Aguna.
What's the guy's name?
I'm talking about knowing little kids. I'm not talking about knowing little kids. There's 70%. Stop. 70% of the people coming through are fully grown men. They're not little kids.
Thank you.
I'm talking about.
You don't understand.
Okay,
you don't understand.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me ask. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Let me ask Stephen. Are you doing? Is NASCAR back yet, Stephen?
My last point, Stacey. Let me make my last point. My last point. Then we can move on. At the end of the day, when we are on this show, and I force you to think and actually walk through.
You don't force me to do anything, Aguna.
Yeah, I do.
You don't force me to do anything. No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
I've told you on this show before. I have friends from El Salvador. I've told you this.
I know. Aguna just told me he was going to sum it up and make the point.
Stacey, that was the sum of it. It's when we have.
He's trying to self-aggrandize himself. It ain't working. No, it's different.
And Stephen to think.
We're talking about people that were here years ago, Stacey, to people that are coming through now. It's mostly men of military age. We're in trouble, Stacey.
Stephen.
Can I speak to you for a minute, Stacey?
Yeah, just a minute, both for Stephen. Are you doing NASCAR? Is NASCAR back? Are you doing NASCAR next week?
He's giving you an out.
NASCAR's probably, it's going to be in a couple weeks. It's going to be Daytona. It's going to be a couple weeks.
So Aguna and Stephen, are you guys doing the NBA next week?
Yeah,
I may actually go to an NBA game, so I gotta see. I may go to a Sixers game. They're doing lousy right now, so we'll see.
So you think you'll bring them some luck?
Okay, so you're saying you may not be here next week?
Maybe. I gotta see it. I'm trying to. I was looking at tickets. You got any extra tickets?
Yeah, you can't handle too much truth
actually,
in such a small amount of time.
Someone did send me a text about the Sixers ticket. I'll forward it to you. Bofa, what did you want to say?
Yeah, when we talked about online radicalization, language is an important part of it. So when you hear people say men of military age, when you hear people say invasion, when you hear these trigger words, you get an idea about how effective they are at radicalizing people, and also at how they can frame an issue to box in the viewer to where the viewer becomes the holy person who wants to see good, and everyone who disagrees with them are all evil people who are controlled by the elites. So
70% military age men.
Sir.
70% military age men.
Stephen, can you let him finish? Okay, let him finish, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm just explaining how this radicalization works.
How is it radical?
Because it's unsubstantiated and not true.
Speaking of Stacey,
it is true.
Speaking of Stacey,
I just addressed your question.
So when you see these people try to have conversations with people who aren't in those echo chambers, the conversations become real contentious, and immediately becomes us versus them, and they're the evil people, and they want to destroy the world, and the whole country is going to die because this is going to happen. They do this every time. So go back to the midterms where they told us caravans were coming to kill us. When Trump wanted to rally the vote out during the midterm. They would ultimately lose, but he was trying to rally people, and he was using these same radicalization techniques. So Facebook, Twitter, these places that we saw have to sit in front of Congress and kind of, you know, at some point they're going to have to be accountable for these things. And I think back to what Keith said. Keith said, well, I'm not going to let my daughter use the phone or my niece use the phone or a tablet. The thinking is if I remove the device, then the stuff won't seep in. Meanwhile, that child is going to school, speaking to other people who read and watch and listen to these things. So that stuff, it becomes like a fish in water. That stuff becomes so normalized that we now have people who've never paid attention to politics their whole life, who've decided Trump is their Lord and Savior, and that they know things about politics. Then when you ask them follow-up questions, it just falls apart completely, and they go back to the dynamic of good versus evil.
Exactly.
So we've seen radicalization play out on this show. We've seen this play out for years.
How do you define good or evil? How do you define good and evil?
You're the one that used those terms.
How do you define it? I mean, there's something. There is evil. Do you agree there is evil in this world?
You. Good night, Aguna. Check your text messages, please.
All right.
Aguna, check your text messages.
Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Take care.